Hey folks, back with another quick model review of a previously built kit that I recently took off the shelf and decided to rework a little bit. This is a 125 scale 1974 Plymouth GTX released by AMT. And this is actually the second video I've taken of this car, but I accidentally deleted the previous one off my YouTube channel. So if you've seen this car before, I apologize. But getting into it, I built this kit several years ago, and I believe it was released sometime in the early to mid 2000s. This kit was a Skill 2, and being a Skill 2, it was pretty simplistic in design, but I think overall it's fairly well detailed. The interior rendering especially shows very nicely. Underneath, it's a little bit simpler. I'll get into that in a second. But as you can see, it's got this set of torque thrust style wheels. They're offset. I actually stole those out of another kit that I had. Those, I believe, came out of a Johnny Lightning release of a 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. Feel free to look on my YouTube channel. I actually do a review on that kit as well. It's a pretty horribly rendered kit. I think AMT, if I recall correctly, that's an AMT build. But one good thing about it was it had a couple of different wheel choices, so I scoffed these ones out of it. The front wheels go on conventionally, like most model kits. It's a two-piece wheel that basically snaps on a little pin onto the front suspension or steering knuckle, I suppose. The back, on the other hand, was a little interesting. The back wheels actually have a metal axle that goes through two holes in the frame. It's pretty simplistic. There's no provision for like a differential. So in that regard, it's a little under-detailed and almost toy-like. But, you know, for a static model just sitting on the shelf, it still shows very well. Now looking at the body overall is, as you can see, very clean. The lines are nice and straight. Everything is well proportioned. I will say the body detailing itself isn't very sharp, so things like the side marker lights and door handles get lost with a couple coats of paint. So be mindful of that. I haven't detailed mine out yet, but I just wanted to leave it as is to show you. Now I finished this in a period correct shade of blue. This was Chrysler Nightwatch blue when I first did the kit. I actually managed to get it with, you know, barely one coat. I think you can call it 1.5 coats of paint, and it looked okay, but it was just a dark blue, and that color actually dated back several years ago. I'm not saying it was correct to the 74 Plymouth, but in 74 there was a very similar color. But I came in recently and did a dust coat with Chrysler Midnight Blue, which is a very similar blue but has a metallic to it. So that kind of adds another element, changed it up a little bit. And as you can see, I did this flat black performance hood treatment, which kind of sets it off nicely. For the interior, I went with white. I think the contrast is really nice. Looks good on a shelf. And if I can track down the old decals, this had a decal kit, GTX decal kit, with kind of like a Roadrunner style white graphic that went down the side of it. If I can find those somewhere, I will. I'll put them on. But again, out of the box, really no issues with this kit. It's overly simplistic, so if you like highly detailed kits, this probably isn't the one for you. As you can see, it's got no provision for mirrors or windshield wipers, which I'm not opposed to. Some of those small things actually make a kit look kind of cluttered, especially in 125 scale, unless they're really well done and well rendered. Under the hood, and this is just a lift-off hood, it's not hinged or anything like that. It has a basically incorrect 446 back. So those are 3 2-barrel carburetors, which if you're a Mopar guy, you know 74 GTXs didn't come with a 446 pack. They didn't come with one past 1971. But one cool thing is it comes with this removable air cleaner that you can just kind of set on like that. I didn't glue it on because if you take it off, you can actually see the 6-pack. So I left it like that. Again, pretty simplistic under the hood, but it does have the battery and whatnot. There's a shot of the underneath. Has an exhaust that makes no sense at all. One header that goes into nothing, basically. I'll have to fix that, but the single exit exhaust, as you can see, no differential in the back. So this kit basically only shines from up top, but that's fine. If you wanted to detail this out and make it a very accurate kit, that might be difficult just because there's quite a bit missing as far as detailing. You know, there's a lot of parts that it didn't come with because it is a very basic skill too. I'd say this is one of the more basic ones with some parts just snapping together. But overall, if you come across this kit, definitely recommend the build. I had a lot of fun with it, and on a simplicity scale, you know, 1 being for the novice, I would give this about a 2. So, you know, even a beginner that's put a couple together can, you know, hammer this out in an afternoon, have a lot of fun with it. As I recall, the parts were clean. There wasn't a lot of flashing or anything like that. I don't know when this tooling was originally released, but it's still pretty sharp, especially the interior. So I want to say it's either stood the test of time or it's not all that old. But anyway, on that note, thanks for watching my video, and as I come up with more of these, if I manage to come up with more of these, I'll post them as I go along. Happy modeling.